Greetings from our channel again. In the 1958 movie South Pacific, Mitzi Gaynor stole the show with her honey bun. Even now, years later, she continues to be a crowd pleaser. The set of the movie was chaotic, with Mitzi Gaynor having to dance on hot sand, cope with hazardous shampoo, and avoid a real tsunami. However, that isn't even the most outrageous aspect. At the age of 92, she is finally coming clean about the backstage drama that no one was aware of, including the cause for Elizabeth Taylor's complete breakdown and the actual reason the film nearly never happened. She's disclosing everything they attempted to conceal today. Mitzi Gaynor was born on September 4, 1931, in Chicago. As noble as her Hungarian ancestry, her true name was Francesca Marlene de Sanyi von Gerber. Her mother danced, while her father played music. Her attraction to the theater was not surprising given her parents' behavior. Being the only kid, she grew up in a household that valued ambition, rhythm, and music. Her family relocated frequently during the Great Depression. To Detroit, then to Elgin, Illinois. And at the age of 11, finally to Los Angeles. Everything changed with that final move. Los Angeles wasn't merely a city. It served as the center of the entertainment sector. This was the place to be if you wanted to succeed. Despite having a long history, her given name wasn't exactly appropriate for the film industry. She was advised to change it by 20th Century Fox when she began to receive attention. The length and complexity of Francesca Marlene de Sanyi von Gerber were excessive. They were looking for something memorable and catchy. She then changed her name to Mitzi Gaynor. She was already causing a stir before Hollywood called. She began taking ballet lessons at the age of 11. Not as a pastime, not as a post-school activity. She meant it. She began performing professionally at the age of 13. She lied about being 16 because she was desperate to get a part in the Los Angeles Civic Light Opera Company. It was successful. She demonstrated her determination and talent by landing a role in Song Without Words. And that was just the start. Before long, she was playing the role of Roberta, the fortune teller, and mischievous Marietta. These weren't merely shows. They were instructive. She gained confidence in her ability to move, maintain an audience's interest, and easily combine dancing and singing. She became sharper, stronger, and more prepared for the future with each performance. However, she wasn't quite as graceful on stage for the first time. When she performed at a dance recital, she was 7 years old. Every move had been practiced and committed to memory. She did not, however, remember to use the restroom prior to taking the platform. Under the bright lights, midway through her act, catastrophe struck. She had an accident right there in front of everyone. The majority of children would have fled and never returned. Although she didn't remain backstage for long, Mitzi also ran off. Even at 7, she knew that a little self-assurance could go a long way, so she wiped away her tears, applied lipstick, and asked if she could put it back on. The audience applauded her bravery as well as her talent. She discovered something significant that evening. How you respond to mistakes is more important than the mistakes themselves. She saw Carmen Miranda play at a theater when she was 9 years old. The tunes. Everything about it was bigger than life, including the colors and the excitement. Mitzi was enthralled as she sat there. She wanted to be more than simply a spectator. She desired to be the one on stage who captured everyone's attention. Something clicked inside her that night. She wasn't merely going to sing and dance. She would become famous. Mitzi Gaynor began performing with the Los Angeles Civic Light Opera Company at the age of 13. A 20th Century Fox talent scout noticed her performance in Naughty Marietta, which led to an audition that transformed her life. She entered the golden age of Hollywood when she secured a 7-year deal at the age of 17. Though they felt her name was Francesca Gerber, the studio adored her energy, dancing, and the way she illuminated a space. Lacked the glitz and glamour of a real Hollywood celebrity. They were looking for something memorable and catchy. She already went by the moniker Mitzi, and Gaynor sounded familiar, like the name of silent cinema star Janet Gaynor. The name has a classy yet approachable vibe. Mitzi Gaynor was born, and within long, her name was showing up on theater marquees all over the nation. Her debut movie role was in the 1950 musical My Blue Heaven, which starred Dan Dailey and Betty Grable. She had a minor role as a dancer, but she made an impression as soon as she appeared on television. People took notice of her confidence when she sang Live Hard, Work Hard, Love Hard. She was not merely a background performer. She possessed a unique quality. Fox also witnessed it. She had already transitioned from supporting to main roles by the age of 19, which is uncommon in a field full of famous people. She was entering the public eye at a time when Hollywood's musical age was coming to an end. Golden Girl, released in 1951, was her first major leading role. She portrayed the real-life Gold Rush performer Lotta Crabtree. Comedy, drama, and intricate musical pieces were all present in the movie. In fact, it included the Academy Award-nominated song Never. Audiences adored Mitzi, and critics appreciated her enthusiasm. She was unavoidable due to her charisma, presence, and flair. Fox encouraged her to play more leading parts as a result of her achievement. She portrayed the endearing and humorous character of Emily Ann Stackerly in Bloodhounds of Broadway in 1952. She was able to showcase her humorous abilities in the movie while performing catchy songs like Buy Low. She then played the part of Ava Tange in The I Don't Care Girl, 1953. Renowned for her outrageous performances in vaudeville, Mitzi put her all into the part, which was daring. The movie made $1.25 million at the box office, which is more than $13 million in today's currency. There was something unique about Mitzi Gaynor. She had more than just talent. She exuded an intensity that left a lasting impression. She had an unmistakable presence, whether she was dancing across the screen or sharing a scene with the biggest names in Hollywood. She was surrounded by icons, including Donald O'Connor, Ethel Merman, and Marilyn Monroe, in the 1954 film There's No Business Like Show Business. The picture, which featured stunning performances, was Fox's first musical shot in CinemaScope and deluxe color. From her first appearance, Gaynor's portrayal as Katie Donahue, a member of a vaudeville family, captivated the audience. A sailor's not a sailor until a sailor's been tattooed, which she performed with Ethel Merman, is among her most memorable roles. It was lively, full of personality, and enjoyable. Gaynor had the ability to make things seem natural. She was frequently compared by critics to Monroe, who had a seductive charisma that attracted attention in numerical form, such as Heatwave. However, Gaynor possessed something distinct. She exuded warmth, brightness, and engagement. She did more than dance. With each gesture, she spoke a tale. The movie wasn't without its difficulties behind the scenes. The cast and crew were annoyed by Monroe's habit of arriving late to set. However, Gaynor later acknowledged that Monroe put a lot of effort into making every scene flawless despite the delays. The movie made $5 million at the box office, making it a commercial success. More significantly, it demonstrated that Gaynor could compete with the top stars in Hollywood. It was a brave step to leave 20th Century Fox, but it led to new opportunities. She starred in 2 high-profile movies at Paramount Pictures in 1957, each of which showcased a different aspect of her abilities. She portrayed Joe E. Lewis, played by Frank Sinatra, and his love interest, Martha Stewart. The movie was based on the true story of a heartbroken nightclub singer who went on to become a comedian. Gaynor added coziness to their scenes together, while Sinatra delivered one of his most poignant performances. The film's most poignant scenes were strengthened by their genuine chemistry, all the way enhancing the movie's enduring influence. She played a supporting part in Gene Kelly's last MGM musical, Les Girls, that same year. 3 dancers recounted their versions of prior events in a legal dispute as the drama progressed. In her part as Joy Henderson, Gaynor was able to combine dance and comedy with Kelly. A humorous song with a motorcycle theme was one of their most memorable performances. A surprising moment that demonstrated her capacity to match Kelly's excellent timing and choreography. There was considerable competition for major roles in Hollywood in the 1950s, but few casting contests were as intense as the hunt for the ideal Nellie for Bush in the South Pacific movie. Mary Martin had made the part memorable on Broadway. Her performance was so good that she was awarded a Tony Award. However, Martin was in her 40s by the time Hollywood was prepared to release the musical on the big screen. She was deemed too elderly by the studio to portray a youthful Navy nurse. So they started looking for a new Nellie. The part was sought after by some of the top actors of the time. There was Elizabeth Taylor. Despite her attractiveness and charisma on TV, she had a flaw. She was neither a dancer nor a vocalist. She still went to the audition, but her anxieties got the better of her. The renowned South Pacific composer Richard Rodgers was not pleased. He turned her down right away. Doris Day was an additional candidate. Although her vocal ability was evident, the producers believed she lacked the impromptu enthusiasm required to portray Nellie. After 2 of Hollywood's most well-known stars were eliminated, Mitzi Gaynor, an unexpected candidate, took center stage. Actress Gaynor was well known. Although she was not as well known as Taylor O'Day, she had previously starred in musicals such as Anything Goes and Less Girls. Her acting, dancing, and singing skills were what made her unique. She didn't require a vocal duplicate, in contrast to many other celebrities of the day. Above all, she was prepared to demonstrate her abilities. Gaynor consented to screen test while other actresses resisted or pulled out. Twice, not just once. Oscar Hammerstein too himself witnessed her first audition at the Beverly Hills Hotel ballroom. With elegance and assurance, she sang Honey Bun and a Cockeyed Optimist, perfectly encapsulating what made Nelly such a charming figure. I'm in Love with a Wonderful Guy was the second test she took, demonstrating that she possessed the emotional range and vocal strength needed for the part. She had an edge because she was willing to try out. Elizabeth Taylor lost the part because of her stage fear. Doris Day had blown the chance away entirely. Gaynor, however, saw every audition as an opportunity to demonstrate why she was the best option. After observing her commitment, the filmmakers decided to cast her as Nelly. However, one person remained unconvinced even after she was cast in the part. Rogers, Richard. When it came to casting his musicals, he had high expectations. Although he was aware that Gaynor was a talented actress and dancer, he wasn't certain that her voice was strong enough. That uncertainty was short-lived. He was proven wrong by Gaynor as soon as rehearsals started. Working together with director Joshua Logan, she spent hours honing her songs to make Nelly's character come to life. Rogers suddenly realized what the others had been seeing all along as she performed: I'm going to wash that man right out of my hair. She was Nelly for Bush, she wasn't merely doing the character. Despite the challenges of filming on Kauai, Hawaii, Gaynor remained totally dedicated. She insisted on performing all of her own songs, in contrast to many other celebrities of the time. It was uncommon at the time for Hollywood musicals. As filming progressed, her relationship with Rossano Brazzi, who portrayed Emile de Beck, gradually got stronger. Because their romance was based on genuine effort behind the scenes, it seemed natural on television. It wasn't easy to take over a job that Mary Martin had made iconic. She gave a Broadway performance that many thought no one could match. However, Gaynor took on the role herself rather than attempting to mimic Martin. She infused Nelly with a new vitality that was lively, kind, and playful. Audiences adored her when South Pacific debuted in theaters in 1958. Gaynor's performance was widely praised, and the movie went on to become one of the year's biggest hits. Even Richard Rogers, who initially questioned her, acknowledged that Gaynor's casting was the perfect one. It was a dream to film South Pacific in Kauai in 1957. The island featured golden beaches, verdant mountains, and the ideal tropical setting. However, the project soon became a logistical headache. The weather was erratic. After a brief period of clear skies, the crew was forced to halt recording as an unexpected downpour arrived. And that caused a significant continuity issue. Because the weather continued changing between takes, there are situations where the lighting changes considerably. It's also evident in that There's Nothing Like a Dame segment, where some of the pictures appear sunny and brilliant while others are cloudy and dark. The tsunami warning followed. A huge tidal wave hit Kauai's North Shore on March 9, 1957. Houses were demolished. Access to important filming locations was cut off when the Kalahoi Bridge collapsed. Production had to stop entirely, and trucks transporting equipment were stuck. Transporting equipment to the island has been difficult even before the tsunami. There weren't many flights to Kauai in 1957. Before they could even get to the set, many members of the cast and crew had to wait for days in Honolulu. The filmmakers persisted in spite of everything. They filled in the blanks with process pictures and matte paints when the weather prevented them from taking outdoor photos. Although 20th Century Fox lost thousands of dollars due to the delays, the outcome was worthwhile. The film's stunning images made Kauai a popular destination for filmmaking. It would be followed years later by films like Pirates of the Caribbean and Jurassic Park. But it wasn't just natural disasters that plagued the production. The usage of color filters during musical sections was one of its most contentious decisions. Joshua Logan, the director, aimed to replicate the dramatic lighting of the stage play. Leon Shamroy, the cinematographer, applied vivid color filters straight to the camera lens. A deep magenta filter during Bali High gave the area a surreal quality. To intensify the romanticism, other songs, such as Enchanted Evening, were colored in shades of slate green or gold. The audiences were split. The effect, according to Rogers and Hammerstein, detracted from the music. There was too much for some viewers, who even thought there was a Theatrical technical issue. Additionally, some scenes appeared hazy rather than magical due to the filters. Logan justified his choice by claiming that the filters maintained the graphics consistency and helped conceal overcast sky. It is still up for debate whether it was a daring artistic decision or a needless diversion. However, whether you like it or not, the movie wouldn't be the same without it. South Pacific presented Mitzi Gaynor with a completely different obstacle. Although she was well known for her dancing in musicals like There's No Business Like Show Business, she didn't have many opportunities to showcase her abilities in this part. With only a few dance moves, playing Nellie Bush required more acting and singing. She was occasionally annoyed by the movie's choreography, which prioritized group numbers over solos. Simple motions become challenging. Filming on the beaches of Kauai, particularly Lumahai Beach, entailed navigating rocky terrain and uneven sand. On that terrain, dancing was practically impossible. Nevertheless, Gaynor's enthusiasm persisted. She subsequently stated that although she enjoyed dancing more, she was thankful for the opportunity to show off her voice, and the audience praised her performance. It nearly didn't happen in her most well-known scene, "I'm going to wash that man out of my hair." She had to sing and dance while being showered with water during the filming of the song at Lumahai Beach. However, the shampoo they used caused such severe eye burns that the production had to halt. After a 2-hour round-trip drive, a team member hurried to Lihue to get Johnson & Johnson baby shampoo. The scene was rescued by that fast fix. Another problem was the water itself. It was freezing even though it was tropical. Gaynor had to suffer several takes of frigid showers while maintaining a happy appearance on camera. It was also difficult to time. She had to make sure her hair lathered correctly in every shot while precisely timing her movements to the music. The scene's viability for the big screen was questioned even by Oscar Hammerstein too. He was concerned that a woman shampooing her hair lacked sufficient visual attraction. However, Gaynor's contagious energy disproved his theory. The song turned into one of the most recognizable scenes in the history of musical films. Gaynor and her co-star Rossano Brazzi had a natural chemistry off-screen. Their light-hearted camaraderie on set contributed to the authenticity of their romance in the movie. At the time, Brazzi's inadequate command of English meant that opera singer Giorgio Tozzi had to dub his singing voice for Émile de Becque. Because of this, he had been reluctant to accept the position, but his slick on-screen persona made him the ideal choice. While he laughed about her endless energy, Gaynor would frequently make fun of his heavy Italian accent. Long days on set were made more fun by their relationship, and their bond looked stunning on screen. It didn't matter when viewers discovered later that Brazzi wasn't the one singing Some Enchanted Evening. One of the most romantic scenes in the history of musical films is still this one. Mitzi Gaynor believed that everything would change as a result of South Pacific. The 1958 movie made nearly $36 million worldwide, making it a major success. She was the only main character in the movie to sing her own songs, and she received a Golden Globe nomination. South Pacific ended up being one of her final big movies rather than a door opener. She only appeared in 3 further films after the film's premiere, none of which were musicals. For Love or Money, 1963, Surprise Package, 1960, and Happy Anniversary, 1959. In retrospect, she acknowledged that live performances were more her style than the big screen. Even if she didn't get the parts she desired in Hollywood, she wasn't going anywhere. She discovered a new platform. The 1960s saw a boom in television, with variety shows proliferating. With her blend of comedy, dancing, and singing, Gaynor became a household name in millions of homes. Audiences adored her because she was a genuine entertainer. On February 16, 1964, she experienced one of her most significant moments. She was the star of The Ed Sullivan Show that evening, during the Beatles' second tour in the United States. Even though over 70 million people watched, Gaynor was the main attraction. She sang a medley of Birth of the Blues and When the Saints Go Marching In, as well as Too Darn Hot and The More I See You. She held the stage despite the nationwide Beatlemania. She witnessed personally how rapidly the industry was changing backstage. The Beatles were new, young, and revolutionizing the world. Paul McCartney's boyish features even led her own choreographer to mistake him for one of the kids performing on stage. Gaynor, however, was unfazed. She adjusted. She began hosting her own TV shows, fusing humor, dance, and music in a fresh and intriguing way. These programs gained enormous popularity, obtaining Emmy nominations and demonstrating her versatility. Then she went one step farther. She was one of the most popular performers in Las Vegas by the late 1960s. There was nothing like her nightclub act. She earned $45,000 a week performing at the Riviera and the Flamingo. Although that was an unprecedented sum, Gaynor's performance was well worth the money. Brilliant. She collaborated with renowned designer Bob Mackie, whose exquisite costumes became a staple of her look. Her concerts were hailed by critics as devastating and faultless. Life magazine said it best. She had begun at the summit and ascended much more. She created history in 1970. She was the first female recipient of the Star Entertainer of the Year award from the Las Vegas Governor's Trophy. She had dominated television, movies, and now America's largest live stage. Gaynor had discovered new ways to shine, while Hollywood had moved on from musicals. Mitzi Gaynor became a household celebrity in the 1960s and 1970s after dazzling audiences with a series of specials. She demonstrated that she was more than simply a movie star by receiving 16 Emmy nominations over 9 series. She was unique in her ability to amuse, dance, and sing. Among these specials, 2 were notable as cultural icons. Mitzi, a 1974 homage to the American housewife, was a lighthearted look at domestic life that combined intricate musical pieces with humor. What's Hot and What's Not, Mitzi took a lighthearted look at evolving trends in dance and music in 1978. Her collaboration with Bob Mackie, a designer who understood how to bring out the best in a performer, was a major factor in her success. Often referred to as the Sultan of Sequins, Mackie produced costumes that were just as stunning as the shows. When he created her stage performance in Las Vegas in 1966, they began working together. He became an integral component of her image from that point on. Throughout the years, creating hundreds of gorgeous ensembles. His vivid, striking clothes were adorned with sequins and elaborate beadwork that glistened in the stage lights. Her dance moves were even more captivating because each piece of clothing was made to move with her. He received an Emmy for his work on Mitzi, Roarin' in the 20s in 1976. He produced some of his most striking drawings for Mitzi, Zings into Spring, a year later. Together, they revolutionized television costume design, demonstrating that style was more than just appearances. It might be included in the actual performance. Gaynor never lost her passion for live theater despite her triumph on television. She returned to the stage in 1989 to portray the lead role of Reno Sweeney during a nationwide tour of Anything Goes. Despite being close to 60, she never lost her enthusiasm. Some questioned if she could still manage the pressures of a major musical, but she not only managed it, she took ownership of it. Before making its way across North America to places like Seattle, Toronto, and Nashville, the tour began on September 12, 1989, at the Orange County Performing Arts Center. The show demonstrated that she still possessed the same kind of star power that initially brought her fame. Every night, when she gave incredible performances, the crowd stood up and applauded. This was more than just a stage comeback. It served as a reminder that genuine talent is always present. Her 2009 return to Kauai to commemorate South Pacific's 50th anniversary was one of the most poignant events of her latter career. The return brought up a plethora of memories for her, who hadn't been back since production ended in 1958. The island had served as more than just a set for movies. It was now part of her tale. Some of the most memorable scenes in the movie were set against the backdrop of Kauai's gorgeous surroundings. She sung, "I'm Going to Wash That Man Right Out of My Hair" at Lumahai Beach. Represented the ethereal Bali High. There were difficulties with filming. Delays were caused by unpredictable weather. Additionally, the crew had to halt production at one point due to a tidal surge. The island's beauty, however, made the movie unforgettable in spite of the challenges. She attended events at the Kauai Marriott Resort while she was there, sharing personal anecdotes about the filming process and reflecting on the meaning of the film for her. She wasn't sure she wanted to return at first. She was concerned that the memories might be too much to handle. But when she got there, she was only thankful. Fans embraced her with open arms, and the island remained almost unchanged. On November 18, 1954, Mitzi Gaynor and Jack Bean tied the knot in San Francisco. She was departing from her 20th Century Fox contract at the time, where she had risen to fame in musicals such as Show Business and There's No Business. She was transforming along with Hollywood. Bean made a daring choice of his own just as she was deciding what to do next. He founded his own company, Bean and Rose Public Relations, after leaving his well-known position at MCA. His new bride was his first and most significant client. Bean recognized something in Gaynor right away that Hollywood hadn't fully accepted. She was not merely a movie star. She could enthrall a live audience with her enthusiasm and stage presence. He assisted her in transitioning from film to television specials and live performances. She secured roles in Anything Goes and The Joker is Wild after signing a new contract with Paramount Pictures in 1956. But the idea included more than just film. She started touring with musical revues that were enormous hits in Canada, Australia, and Las Vegas once Bean took over her career. They did not pursue red carpets or large social gatherings, in contrast to many Hollywood couples of their era. They favored a more tranquil existence. They purchased a house in Beverly Hills in 1960 and transformed it into a refuge where they entertained close friends rather than influential figures from Hollywood. Love, trust, and a unique balance between their personal and professional life were the foundations of their more than 50-year marriage. They differed from many of their colleagues in that they never had children. However, it was never regretted. Their relationship, according to Gaynor, was based on a profound understanding and unwavering support. Bean believed in her skills so strongly that he made it his life's mission to manage hers, leaving aside a bright position at MCA. Gaynor's career flourished long after Hollywood's golden age because of his vision. Her musical revues gained popularity and drew crowds every year. In the late 1960s and early 1970s, many of these were even made into television specials, demonstrating her ability to control both a stage and a national television audience.